Okay, so in this video we're going to take a look at the Media Manager, which comes with the simulator Open Range 2 from Laser Ammo Smokeless range. So this Media Manager allows you to manage your assets that can be used with the editor for creating courses and stages within the Open Range 2. So we're going to take a look at the targets and scoring, the backgrounds and the objects in this particular video. We're not going to cover the sound effects. I might cover that in another video, but essentially you can add sound effects for like hit markers on targets or miss targets and other sort of like sound effects. We'll have a brief look at that, but I'm not going to obviously add any custom elements to it. So let's jump straight in, and we're going to obviously add in some custom assets which I've already created in the background using a graphics package, and we're going to do that to obviously sort of demonstrate obviously how you would go about that process. So first things first, then we'll go through the backgrounds. So click on that and you can see that the background importer loads, and you also already have some sort of defined backgrounds in here. These are obviously supplied when you get the actual simulator, so you can obviously utilize these as you see fit, and pretty straightforward to obviously sort of like use within the course editor. But we're going to go ahead and obviously sort of like add another one. So you click on add image, and obviously see some assets I've built here. So here's a background I want to use. So we double click on that, and you can see it's obviously just dropped that background in. Now the backgrounds are obviously a defined dimension, which you can find in the help documentation for the Open Range 2. I'll put a link to that in the description for those who are interested, but you can find out what the image size needs to be in order to sort of obviously create your own assets. So once you've done that, you've got background name. You can obviously set that to whatever you want, or leave it as the file name, and then go ahead and save background. Just get a confirmation dialog, and then you're good to go. So there's your background already saved, ready to use for your course editor. Okay, so let's now step back, and we're going to look at the targets now. So click on the target scoring. So you can see here on the target importer you have some predefined targets which obviously you can use straight out of the box, or obviously you can also go and add your own, which we'll do shortly. But just a quick note on the targets. So it's quite clever what they've done here. So you've got the ability now to be able to set scoring zones on your targets, whereas I don't know if the original Open Range had this capability. Someone might be able to drop something in the comments to that effect. But it looks like now you can import your image, and then you can specify zones which obviously attribute to a score. So you can see here at the bottom in the kind of yellow text, you have a miss zone, default zone, zone 3, zone 2, and zone 1. And how that's set up is that if you go to edit the target, you can see that as I obviously go to each one of these, whatever, it corresponds to these zones, and you can see here appearing as highlighted colors. So you can actually define your scoring zones. So how you would do that is obviously you would go ahead and add a new zone, and then obviously you mark your position of where you want that zone to be. So I'm just going to kind of randomly drop some markers in, and then when you want to finish, you kind of join up the dots by right-clicking on your mouse, and then you have your zone. And obviously you can then go ahead and modify the color of that zone as you see fit. And you can also sort of like modify the actual zone itself. So you click on the little markers you've got, and using the arrow keys you can obviously adjust where the edge would be, and you can do that for like each marker you've got. So you can obviously sort of like define your edges for where your zone would need to be. So it's quite powerful stuff, and it means that you have a quite an intricate target. You can obviously set up very specific sort of like regions which you can define and set those. You can also define a score, so you can obviously put your score in there, and you can also you have to actually, if you click away it doesn't set it, but you have to hit enter to make it record it. So when you get your zone, you can also you can move that around. So you can set the zone sort of like to what kind of area you want it to be in, so how it sort of like relates to the location, and you've got quite a finite control over obviously everything about the target importer. You can even obviously set a category for this, so you can obviously define where the category would be for this target. You've also got the target's dimensions you can do, plus the target name. So yeah, quite powerful stuff here. So that's obviously just a quick glimpse on obviously how to do that, but we'll cover that in when we actually import a target. So if I cancel out of this, put that back to its default, and let's go ahead and add a target. So in this case I'm going to go for this full length armed man target. So you see here, obviously I'm going to define a set height for that. So, and I'm also going to add in a hit zone. So at the moment you get a default zone of 0, so that's obviously a miss everywhere. And you don't have anything to sort of like register a hit, so you have to have a single zone. So I'm just going to put one of those in quick. And that's going to make this really kind of rough, just to sort of, for the demo purposes here. I'm not going to give it too much of a defined edge. We're just going to obviously show this from a demo perspective. So you can see obviously the zone there, and again, you know, I can come in and obviously change that or modify the color for whatever I want it to be, and attribute a score to that as well. Let's just move this one out a little bit so we've got more coverage on that. Perhaps move this one up a little bit. So you can see obviously, you know, you've got very fine control on all of this, so you can make these adjustments and really sort of tune your target. Okay, so just make sure we've got everything covered. Okay, so that's good. So then you go ahead and obviously you could add additional ones in there, but we're just going to obviously for demo purposes leave this as is. So we kind of save the target. So there we're done. So now we have our armed man target. And then finally we're going to add some objects in. So again, you've got, you know, default objects ready to go straight out of the box, and we're going to go ahead and add an object. So I'm going to put this stack of tires in here. Now again, you've got a material type which you can use. This is more of a category than anything else, so you can obviously define your objects by category. Let's give this something reasonable. Again, that looks good. There's no hit markers on this. It's just they're just static images to obviously help you fill the course. So that's that one done. I'm also going to add in the this little ammo crate thing we got here. So we'll call that plywood. 15 inches high. That's all done. And then we're also going to add in the vertical frame. So this is like a kind of panel which I'm going to put into the course with a window in there. So again, define the height of this. So maybe 96 on that one. All good. Now one other thing I do, which you don't have to, but obviously I'll show you why I do this and how I think it benefits. I also use this thing called a target panel screen, which complements the that vertical screen you saw a second ago, and provides a backdrop for the target. So I'll show you. So there's, I mean, if you've got a bit of a, so yeah, if your text for your description is a bit long, obviously it looks like it obviously bleeds over the available space. So that's something that perhaps they can wrap the text in the next update if they see that issue. But yeah, so because you've got this as a transparent area in here, I use the backing screen to obviously provide that. It's the same size and dimensions, but it provides that black background rather than this showing whatever's behind, because obviously you may have like a backdrop, and it just depends on how it looks. But I'll show you what I mean when I start to build out the course that we do obviously with these assets. Okay, so that's pretty much everything in place, whatever. So I'll just show you quickly the sound effects. So again, these ones in here obviously are the ones that come with the package, and again you can add new ones in. I believe that, yeah, they're just WAV files, so you can obviously, if you can find some software to create a WAV file sound effect, you can add new elements in here that obviously allow you to obviously define noises or sounds rather to any targets, hit markers or no hit markers or whatever you choose. So yeah, so pretty powerful stuff, whatever, and obviously quite good for allowing you to have custom courses. So what we do is in the next video we'll show those assets being used to create a course, but obviously this was just an introduction to the Open Range 2 Media Manager. Okay, thanks for watching.